Well, good morning, everybody. It's Steve here again, and here we are at the Heaven Can Wait Yacht Race. This is just past morning sked. Sun's rising, as you can see from the background. It's the weather is pretty atrocious. So here we have one of the mainstays of the event, Lake Middleton. So talk to us a little bit, Blake, and good morning.
Good morning. Sort of.
Yeah. So you've been coming for the past 5 years,
right?
So come all the way from a long way around the world to, and obviously charity yacht racing is part of your life.
9,000 miles, give or take. Yes.
9,000 miles, give or take. What's the big changes you've seen? Have you seen big changes?
Yeah, I think so. You know, this event started as a dream of Sean Lewicki's, and I've been here every year, and the first 2 years sailed in the event, and what has happened first is that the numbers have increased, obviously. We had literally only 20-some boats the first year, 30-some, and then gradually building up to the 70-something boat range now. And the thing about the races is it's always been a race for everybody, meaning it doesn't matter whether your boat is some tiny little, 18-foot boat that's got bare minimums for meeting Cat 7 standards, or whether it's a 45-footer or something big, or in this case, really high-performance boats. So two things that have changed for sure. One is level of competition has gotten better. The number of really good sailors who've come in has increased in addition to the every man and every woman sailor. Some of the people who have minimal experience, have never sailed offshore, have never sailed at night. That's one of the unique things about the 24-hour. The one lap dash has been very popular the last 2 years. Last year it was more popular than expected, mostly because the weather was so atrocious, so windy, so stormy. This year we had one of the most interesting 24 hours in that the winds were moderate to little windy during the first half of the first lap. To the point where the lead boats, which were a couple of foiling moths, which were doing like speeds of 25, 26 knots, just unbelievable speeds, ripped around the lake, beating two tribes, the catamaran that won the one-lap dash speed record last year. And about the time that the lead boats all finished, the wind finished also. And so we did a radio sked this morning, and usually at this time, most boats have finished 2 or 3 laps, and some boats have finished 4 to 5 laps. This time, two tribes, the catamaran, had just finished the third lap. Most boats had only finished 1 lap and a few extra marks.
Okay, many people see this as you coined a couple of years ago, as the world's largest inshore-offshore race. They see this as sort of training wheels for more events. Have you seen the quality of the safety procedures, the radio improve? So
yep.
Is that, do you think, just because the same boats do it, or is a general change in?
I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
We have a number of people who sail at a high level who are used to it, who can step into it. We also have people who are a number of boats that are doing it for their third or fourth, in a couple cases, 5th year straight. So now they kind of get it. I'd never done radio skeds before, and my background is mostly small boat sailing. Although I've done offshore sailing, it's mostly been coastal sailing. I haven't raced blue water, haven't gone across oceans or anything.
Okay, so 5 years, long time. What do you think's been the most memorable experience of the race? Both from a crash test dummy point of view on the water to your own personal reflection.
Crash test dummy actually broke their mast yesterday, so sorry, they were moving pretty fast up until that time. So there's enough wind where that happened. I hate to say it, but the first year was the most memorable, and just because it was so new to me, and although I had sailed at night, I had only raced at night once prior to that, and we saw everything from 25 knots out of the south to light winds. We had almost every wind direction of the compass at some point, shut off completely, came back, and the technology involved in putting the race together was still in its infancy, so that meant that we didn't have buoys that were lit very well or at all in a couple of cases. So it was the memorable things about multiple boats hunting for buoys in the middle of the bay. We were all in the right bay. We knew there was a buoy there. We just couldn't find it. And we were crossing each other going, it's was around here somewhere, and I vividly remember going by another boat within a couple of boat lengths. We went right past each other, and we all went. we didn't know where the mark was. One boat found it. We saw the boat turn around and chute go up, and we all went, there it is. We all followed, kind of stuff. In spite of the fact that we hit GPSs, we still couldn't see anything, couldn't find anything. So yeah.
So what lessons do you think you've learned this year? Or what lessons do you think the race organisers will be taking forward?
Well, yeah. One of the problems is that we're a little bit victims of our own success. And what I mean by that is that as the event gets bigger, it also gets more diverse. The performance range of the boats is going this way, or at least this way anyway. And so it's hard to find courses that meet everybody. This year we did a shortened course for the Division II boats, the slower boats. And I'm glad we had that, because we would have had a hard time finishing much of anybody otherwise. But in retrospect, we had a strange forecast. The forecast was supposed to build hard. It started really good, and it crapped out completely. I think for next year, the way we may solve that is to do a shorter lap, just for the first lap only, so that even though some of the boats will finish it way too fast, at least the slower boats, all of them should have a chance of finishing it. That's my hope, at least.
Okay, fantastic, Blake. And people will say, how much respect do you have for the sailors going around and around all night in this?
Oh, absolutely. Good example was last year the line honors winner in the rain inside.
Getting rained on the lens as well here. Keep
The
going.
line honors winner was Melgus 32 Rock and Roll, and they were seeing 15 to 20 to 25 plus all night long. Not a single person got a wink of sleep. They were on the rail. They were on the rail for 24 hours. They had something like 70 sail changes. I don't know what they're something ridiculous. They would never do that many sail changes in a Hobart race or something, and that's just dedication beyond anything I can comprehend. So,
Thank you, Blake.
you're welcome. Thanks. Good to be here.